Hi, I'm Colin McClellan, interim editor-in-chief of the Northern Miner. I'm with Murray Nye. He's the CEO of Demesne Resources. Murray, it's great to see you. How are you doing? And let's talk a bit about this new mine you're taking an option on, IMA, a tungsten mine with some history in Idaho.
Yeah, thanks very much, Colin, for having me today. It's a pretty exciting little project. I shouldn't say little. It's a pretty exciting project we've just entered into. We've just recently acquired the mine, optioned the mine off a group based out of Missoula, Montana,
Right.
and so we're very excited about it because it's a critical mineral that we're dealing with, tungsten. There's currently no tungsten producers in North America, so we think that we're at the right place at the right time with the right asset.
Right. So tungsten, a critical mineral, fascinating there. Tell me a bit about the history of the mine and some of the other producers there that have were working on it.
Sure, it's got a very interesting storied history. It started off as a silver mine in the late 1890s.
Right.
A company by the name of the Bradley Mining Company, based out of San Francisco, came in about 1935, and they looked at it as a tungsten producer. In fact, I think GE had a mine very, very close by. Of course, tungsten in those days was used primarily for light bulbs and hardening different materials. So they operated it. The World War II happened, and then they started operating it in 1945 and successfully mined it for 13 years till about 1958.
Yeah.
And then I think they shut it down because of economic conditions. A very kind of famous company called Inspiration Development came in 1978 and optioned it from the Bradley Mining Company.
Okay.
They spent about $2 million rehabbing the mine.
Which was a lot back then.
Yeah, it's about $10 million in today's money.
Yeah.
They did a pretty substantive drill program on it. They drilled 7 holes from underground and 6 holes from surface. Came up with 13 holes. Plus, they did a great deal of sampling on the existing veins that were there that they could get to, and they came up with a historic resource. I got to mention it's non 43101 compliant. Bradley had a resource of around 350,000 tons,
Right.
and Inspiration with the drilling they did and the sampling they did come up with about just over 1 million tons. So.
But the idea is that there's still a fair bit of tungsten there. And so what's the pitch to investors that you'd like to make?
Well, we believe that it's still there. We think that they've
Right.
stopped mining not because they ran out of ore. They stopped mining because the Chinese flooded the market in the mid 1980s, and
Right.
pretty much every tungsten mine in North America shut down. So we believe that the mine was operating successfully up until 1958. Inspiration had the idea they were going to put it back into production because we actually have their mine plan that they were
Yeah.
putting together. So we feel pretty confident that this thing could be put back into production. And with the situation with China right now declaring that they're not going to be shipping tungsten to North America or cutting back on the supply dramatically, we think that there's a very good opportunity for us with say somebody like the Department of Defense to take a serious look at this asset.
Right. The importance of critical minerals today. We've got the U.S. Department of Defense, like you say, backing some projects, even in Canada, but this one in Idaho, of course. But and of course, the uh, the background that you have in the business as well, you're bringing that to this. And how would you say that some of your experience informs your process going forward with IMA?
Oh, thanks, Colin. Yeah, we started a mine back in 2005 in Montana. I didn't know too much about mining at that point, but what I would suggest I am skillful at is hiring some good people.
Right.
So I got involved in a gold mine in Montana, and I hired a very good team to put that into production. We successfully did that we had it producing roughly 400 tons a day by 2010-11.
Okay.
And we were producing roughly zero point 0.4 ounces of gold per ton, so 160 ounces a day we were producing out of that mine. And then I had the opportunity to put another mine in Montana into production as well. So I say my skill set is more in the connections I have and the people I'm able to bring to these projects.
Great, and you also have the STAR project in British Columbia. Would you like to touch on that? What's going on there?
Yeah, it's an iron ore formation. It had some drilling done on it, I believe, in the 1980s. It looks like a promising asset, but I think our focus, just because the nature of where the world is now, say on the geopolitical arena, is the fact that tungsten is a critical mineral. There are no producers of tungsten in North America right now, so
Right.
I think we're poised to maybe become, we have that opportunity, I believe, ahead of us. We have to do some work, of course, on the property to make some determinations. But the interesting thing about it is we have all the old historic data. So it's a tremendous pool of information for us that we save us millions of dollars. And the fact that we can then take that information, digitize it, and then put it into a 3D model or some sort of modeling format and come up with hopefully a PEA or some sort of plan for the mine that's based on what's happened there in the past, not on something that we think could happen.
So a wealth of information in the digital data, that the data you're getting from the historical, and the wealth of information from your own history informing the project going forward. It sounds pretty exciting for our IMA mine in Idaho. Uh, I've been with Murray Nye, the CEO of Demesne Resources. I'm Colin McClelland, editor-in-chief of the Northern Miner. Thanks very much for watching.